My name is Wilhelm Murg. You're watching the Wilhelm channel. I'm here to talk about John Trubee. I want to talk about his new book, Please God, Help Me Be Normal, a collection of Scarborough's drawings by John Trubee. But first, I'm a creator too. Hard, hardcore, sadomasochistic, LSD induced, horrible, nasty, politically incorrect cyberpunk from the 1980s, written by yours truly on way too much acid, Burroughs, Jim Thompson novels. And I was collecting Mickey Spillane paperbacks from the 1950s at the time, and lots of Philip K. Dick. So yeah, if you want to take a chance, hit me up. You can contact me. I'll have information down in the description. Or you can also go on Amazon. I will have a link to my Amazon page, and you can order it from there. We're actually moving copies, and so far we haven't had anyone try and prosecute us for obscenity. That said, here's something obscene. John Trubee, when he was a teenager, dropped acid, wrote this really bizarre song lyrics, and it was, I got high last night on LSD. My mind was beautiful, and I was free. Warts love my nipples because they're free. Vomit on me, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Something like that. He sent this thing to one of the tone poems, a phenomenon from the 70s that a lot of you will probably never know about. There's actually an All in the Family episode where with Cleavon Little from Blazing Saddles, where Edith is saving up money to send one of her poems to one of these places, and they would send. There's a documentary on these guys. They would actually send. You would send so much money in your poem to this company, and this fellow with a few musicians would go in once a week or whatever and make a bunch of records, press them, send them out to people. It was a business, and Trubee did it with this song. This is actually I have this on CD and LP. American Song Poem Anthology. Do you know the difference between big wood and brush? And this is a collection of those guys, of these people who, uh, you know, actually send in their money with poems. Jimmy Carter says yes. I've actually seen that used on a documentary about the 70s. But yeah, the grand finale is Blind Man's Penis. Peace and Love by Ramsey Kieranay, who is the guy that sings it. So John sends in this poem with his money, and this guy records it with this kind of Johnny Cash voice. As I understand it, they changed it from Stevie Wonder's penis to Blind Man's Penis so they wouldn't get sued. And boom, you got yourself a record. He was selling it, and at some point, Rough Trade Records, I believe it was, wanted to put it out, and they reprinted it. Those things are worth a lot of money. I don't have an original. Like I said, I have this reissue from a few years ago. And Trubee is an artist who basically saves up his money from these horrible jobs that he's had, just mind numbing jobs that everyone ends up with sooner or later, and saves up his money and creates things like the records, like the songs on this record. Blind Man's Penis, that's his Freebird, man. But for all these other songs, they're good. With his band, or whatever he considers his band, whoever he puts in his band, the Ugly Janitors of America. Um, it's like hard as whoever the Wilson sisters decide to play with them. I think the most important thing about John Trubee's art is while the art is one thing, if you read his interviews and you look at, kind of the subtext, there's a certain anger over the fact, or disillusionment, whatever you want to call it, that he has to work, and he has to work so hard to make a living and to produce art that he wants to produce, that he doesn't really have time to produce that much art. And it reminds me of Orson Welles, who said he spent more time of his life trying to raise money to make a film than he did actually making movies. And so Trubee, there's this kind of existential scream about this that I thoroughly understand. You know, I mean, yeah, I've seen that happen with everyone. Great artists, they're just beaten down by their day job, who could do something really amazing if they had the chance. But Trubee, this book, there's something about it that is almost kind of that really distilled. And what happened was he talks about how he's there's John. Uh, Basically, he had a Sharpie, I believe, or he had some pens and some paper, and he had to stand at this hardware store all day and uh, answer questions and help a bunch of ugly old men. And while he was doing this mind-numbing job, he sat there and did these drawings and would take them home at the end of the night of ugly old men. And apparently, the great Jim Blanchard, friend, and someone I really admire as an artist, kept wanting to do something with these. And so apparently he started with like the words and then would draw these and would spend all day. And the thing about it is, anyone you pick, there's just so much detail that in the stubble, the hair, you can tell it was someone just bored, learning, teaching himself all these shading techniques, with a pen out of, lack of anything better to do. And I've seen them before, like that album cover. Obviously, that's some of them. Here's a fanzine that Blanchard said along with the book, Trubee's Ugly Men, Volume 1. What is this? 2013. And I should add that there's a tradition of kind of ugly faces within comics. I brought a few classic examples. Here's Basil Wolverton Plop from the early 70s, from my childhood. Man, I got way too much light on there. This is Wally Wood doing his Basil Wolverton imitation on one of the later plops. Those are number 4 and 12. This is 13. And here's an example of some recent stuff. This is Gilbert Hernandez and Blubber, which is a series that's still going on as I speak in September 2021. And another example of great screaming faces. Yeah, really great series. And I should add that Blanchard is probably the best person because there is a kind of, I don't know, almost similarity. They don't look anything alike, but at the same time they're kind of in the same. I see some kind of kindred spirit at least. This is Blanchard. This is from his book Visual Abuse, which came out. This was 2016. And so that's from Blatch. That's from one of his fanzines. I think a lot of these are from fanzines. And beautiful stuff. There is no doubt Jim Blanchard was the Picasso of Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Yeah, we're out here working on gas for you guys, drawing cartoons, making videos. Vomit, they call me Mr. Fuck. Thyroid Gerber, welcome to the Megler generation. Meegler generation? Some of this, I have no idea what he's saying. I don't know what a Bechdalism is, but welcome to the wonderful world of it. Welcome to the wonderful world of phlegm. And, it can be quite brutal. I picked a few things that interested me, different examples. Alcohol kills the brain cells, making us permanently stupider every time we party. 1988. And, I think that could be a good t-shirt. A lot of these could be a good t-shirt. This one I marked to show, it's not all just ugly old men. Sometimes we have these weird kind of embryonic sci-fi bird, fantastic planet. I'm not sure what they are, but they're sure interesting to look at. Um, yeah, buy more crap. That seems like a protest T-shirt. Don't buy the lie. Fuck TV. And that's a hell of a devil. I wish we had more devils in this book. I really like that devil design. Um, Here's this kind of weird, I don't know, yellow submarine uh, on brown acid, suicidal. And here's another. That kind of reminds me of a Roger Dean cover for one of those bands that are only famous for having a Roger Dean cover. Yeah, there's some trippy stuff. I mean, it's all rather trippy, but heavy duty. Um, yeah, well, that's just cruel. I have a good friend who I think made the same joke around the same time this was 1990, and we all laughed at it. And it's kind of like when you have to apologize for obscene racial humor. You have to apologize for cruel humor these days, but none of us really like Sandy Duncan. Another one, just wow, whatever. Um, um, yeah, I don't know why I bought them. I'm not sure what this one is. And let's do a couple more here. When you died, I felt really happy. When you fucked the pig, did it squeal in ecstasy? That seems like a good place to stop. Yeah, recommendations by Jello Biafra, the great Reverend Ivan Stang, Penn Gillette, and Peter Bagg. Talk about Jim Blanchard's posse. So, yeah, highly recommend it. I when I heard about it, I thought, is that something I really want to read? I mean, it was interesting, but is this just more of a artifact? And then when I looked at it, there's something about it that, yeah, the art is definitely compelling. It's the famous quote about Nancy that it's easier to look at it than to ignore it. And when I actually read it, yeah, this that was a hell of a reading experience as a book, as a comic book for that matter. I think it works quite well. Yeah, this is quite an astounding little thing. I'm really happy to have it in the collection. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. Anyway, so yeah, collection of scabrous drawings by John Trubee. Please God help me be normal. And before we go, one more little shameless pitch for Hard, my novel. Let's get that one out of the way. Um, like I said, if you're interested, there's stuff in the description here on the YouTube channel on how you can get it. You can look it up on Amazon, or you can contact me. You can get your hands on a copy. This is not a hard book to get your hands on. I'm Wilhelm Murg. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.